Lovely to see your faces once again, my movie peeps. Let me give you the movie news. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys, is we finally have the first trailer for the final Conjuring movie. We got the first reviews and reactions for Karate Kid Legends, and oh my god, I am so sad. As well as another person cast in Spider-Man 4, and fans already believing it connects to Miles Morales. Oh, we're gonna be diving into that long so much more, so you know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me what you do for a living. I'd like to know what the people who watch 3C films do to earn some money. But with that out of the way, let's jump into our first topic, starting off with some movie trailers that got revealed this week. One for a new Stephen King film. The movie is titled The Long Walk, and we'd actually heard a little bit about this movie because it was one of the films highlighted at this year's CinemaCon, where the premise follows a group of 100 men who were rounded up for a contest. This specific contest involved participants walking for as long as they could until there was only one person left. I think on paper, saying it just like that, it could sound like one of the most boring movie plots, but man, this trailer absolutely hooked me in and paints such a thrilling story. There are a couple of rules to the contest. For one, participants must keep a pace of 3 miles per hour. If you go under that pace for too long, well, you get shot and eliminated. You do get 3 warnings to stop and tie your shoe, go pee, or just rest for a little bit, but after those 3 warnings are up, if you do it again, you are also then shot and eliminated. Mark Hamill looks to play a sergeant, making sure these boys stay in line. David Johnson from Alien Romulus seems to be the main character. I think it's even funny that they got director Francis Lawrence, who did a lot of the Hunger Game movies, to direct this film because it kind of has that Hunger Games contest feel to it. All I know is I think I'm making it a total of like 5 hours. Then Papa's getting shot. This is also supposed to be one of the oldest Stephen King novels, and I've just been seeing nonstop from people who have read it that it's actually a pretty dark and traumatic story with some things that happen in it. I can't believe they've made me watching people walk for like 2 hours actually thrilling. I'm so in for The Long Walk. How are you guys feeling about it? And well, on the last side flick, I gave you guys a first look to the Conjuring Last Rites, and today they actually revealed the first teaser trailer. And I gotta be honest with you, the first 30 seconds of this trailer, I would not have known this is a new trailer for a new Conjuring movie because I feel like they just showcase this Warren Museum so often. You could have told me this was the trailer to Annabelle 3, and I would have believed you. But just again, kind of quickly reiterating some things we're gonna see from this movie that we learned from the first look a couple days ago, is the movie's going to be adapting one of the final cases Ed and Lorraine Warren worked on that was also one of their most famous, the Smurl family haunting. I really actually loved the little baby doll sequence in the trailer. I thought that was actually kind of creepy and effective. While everything else about it just kind of looks okay, could be promising, I'm still just kind of held back on this movie because of director Michael Chavez. I'm sure he's a great guy, but having worked on La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, 2 movies that just really are not up to the standards of the original 2 Conjuring films, I don't have all that much faith, but I just really hope they nail the landing because this is going to be the final Conjuring movie for Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They've admitted that they still plan to make other spin-off movies in the universe, but this will be the last main Conjuring universe film. I'm intrigued enough to give it a chance, and I just hope it ends up surprising me. How did you guys feel about the first trailer for The Conjuring Last Rites? And well, I guess staying in the horror sphere for a little bit, we got revealed today the release date for the next Evil Dead movie. Not just that, but the actual title of the film. It got revealed here that the new movie will be titled Evil Dead Burn and will release in theaters July 24th, 2026, a little over a year from now. Now, this is one of the 2 Evil Dead movies that is up and coming. This one is being directed by Sebastian Van Sieck and will star Sohelia Jacob. The only other details we were given about this movie go as I told the studio that I wanted to make a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you can come away tested. When the last Evil Dead movie, Evil Dead Rise, was announced, some people were able to put together that the film would take place in a high-rise building thanks to the word rise, and that did end up becoming true. With this one being titled Evil Dead Burn, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, my first thought went, okay, will this take place in a firehouse location, you know, revolve around a bunch of firefighters? Another really cool theory and idea I've been seeing float around, burn could imply hell. Would we actually go to the place that all these deadites are actually from? That would be something new and refreshing. We usually see them come into our world. What if someone gets trapped into the Necronomicon and we see the Evil Dead's version of hell with all these creatures around around us. That could maybe be what burn represents. All I know is I'm just happy that this is the direction of the franchise, is keeping every movie almost like an anthology, slightly connecting them to one another. I really enjoyed Evil Dead Rise, so hopefully this one's another banger. Are you guys excited for Evil Dead Burn? And what are your theories on that title? Next up, it looks like we have our first reviews and reactions for the upcoming Karate Kid Legacy sequel titled Karate Kid Legends. You guys know I am a very big fan of the Karate Kid franchise. I've loved the movie since I was a kid, and I've been a big fan of the Cobra Kai series. Really enjoyed the way they ended that, and I was honestly kind of shocked and thrown back when I saw the first trailers for Karate Kid Legends, because it looked like they actually put a little bit of effort and were blending in the old and new together well, with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan coming back. I knew I was going to watch the movie and probably like it because I'm a fan, but that trailer made me go, oh, they actually made something cool here, only for the first reviews and reactions to kind of say the movie is terrible. No! Now again, take it with a grain of salt. Some people might be exaggerating. Some people might have a different taste. In fact, I'm a little delusional and hoping these people just don't understand the Karate Kid world. But even some of these positive reviews, oh man, they're not giving me a lot of faith. So the movie apparently had its premiere in Mexico City, where a couple of people did get to see it. One review here did say, Karate Kid Legends is very entertaining from start to finish. Its frantic pace and familiar plot will leave fans of the saga happy. Little development of the villain and female characters, but it is compensated by good cinematography, action, and charisma of the protagonist. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Another review here says, Karate Kid Legends follows the same formula as the franchise, with all its cliches to appeal to nostalgia. Even with that, the charming charisma of its cast, humor, and the fights make the film a mere entertainment product that seeks nothing more. That said, the editing seems terrible to me. But the most brutal review I have seen so far comes from the Hollywood Handle, who says here, Karate Kid Legends is one of the worst films in the franchise. It's super rushed, formulaic, soulless, and wastes Jackie Chan and Ralph's characters in every possible way. I can't believe it, man. I was actually duped. I was actually tricked. That first trailer seemed genuinely nice. But even that super negative review aside, the two positive ones mention something that do raise red flags to me. If this film just turns out to be a super formulaic, rinse and repeat version of the original Karate Kid, I will be very disappointed. We have several movies in. We have a TV show that kind of perfected and even did that same formula every season. Seeing it one more time done on the big screen and wasting Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan, that will hurt as a Karate Kid fan. From looking at some of these reviews, it sounds like the people who will get the most enjoyment out of this are casual viewers into the Karate Kid universe, or people who just want to see that same formula over and over again. I'm still going to go in optimistic and hoping I could find a silver lining, but hearing this does make me pretty disappointed. I toss it off to you Karate Kid fans. You hear some of these first reviews and reactions. Did you see it coming? I know some of you saw it coming. Chris, you really thought the new Karate Kid would be good? Shut up! Shut up! Next up, we got a couple of updates into the Marvel sphere, starting off with Thor 5. We got a really interesting rumor that we do have to take with a grain of salt, but I think is fascinating to talk about. We know Chris Hemsworth is already confirmed, and we've even gotten photos of him on the set of Avengers Doomsday. But a scooper here, My Time to Shine Hello, did say this about Chris Hemsworth's future in the universe, saying, a source reached out, turns out Secret Wars won't be the end of his story. They claim Thor 5 is in the works, no Taika this time, and Hemsworth is pushing for Sam Hargrave, the Extraction guy, to take over. If I had to put my money on it, I would have betted a lot of money that Chris Hemsworth Thor probably died somewhere either in Doomsday or Secret Wars, just because he's one of the last remaining OG Avengers, and I gotta think every time he's in a new film, he's pretty expensive. And when that starts happening, it's just time to kill off that character or retire them. So there is a part of me a little shocked that they do have a plan to send him off, retire the character, whether it's through death or just have him ride off into the sunset, but in Thor 5 instead of Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. If this does turn out to be true, I guess I am happy about it, because Thor Love and Thunder left such a sour taste in my mouth. That is not a way I would want the Thor franchise to end. I think Hemsworth has even mentioned in interviews he wants to go back to a more serious version of Thor. Having the director of Extraction attached, I wouldn't mind it for the action sequences. I more care about if the story is something worth telling, but I will say the tone of Extraction is something I'd much prefer than something like Thor Love and Thunder. Of course, we'll have to wait and see when Doomsday and Secret Wars comes out, and if they get to Thor 5, that's a good 5-6 years away. Plenty of time for Marvel to switch things around and change their mind. But do you think Thor is getting retired in Doomsday and Secret Wars or Thor 5 like it's being mentioned here? And next up, we got a breaking story that is happening as I'm recording this side flick. Deadline is here reporting that Marvel is so happy with the performance of Thunderbolts, mainly critically with audiences and critics, that they are trying to get the director Jake Schreier to be the director for the MCU X-Men movie. And I gotta be honest, as a fan, that makes me extremely happy if it ends up happening. The article says they still haven't signed or officially made it a done deal, but it looks very likely like he is going to end up getting the job. And if he does, yes. Thunderbolts ended up being a really pleasant surprise for me. I like the movie a lot, but mainly because it felt like a refreshing return to form for Marvel in its classic days. This director handled the dynamic between the team really well, and that's something I really want in an X-Men movie, is for the team dynamic to work. Some great action sequences, and he also balanced the serious and humor moments pretty well. I mean, the film was talking about depression and self-worth, and nowhere at times did it feel like it was being treated lightly or as a joke. It's also kind of exciting to know that Marvel is really trying to chuck along and get this 10-year plan for the MCU's X-Men started, because they will be the main focus of the MCU after Secret Wars. We'll have to wait and see if he officially gets the job, but it's looking likely. I'm okay with this. In fact, I'm happy with it. Are you guys happy if the director of Thunderbolts ends up directing the MCU X-Men movie? Bringing us into our final story, and it is an update on Spider-Man Brand New Day, where we have yet another official cast member added to the movie, letting you know this film is just closer and closer, and pretty soon we're probably going to get some much bigger names and ideas of who will be part of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So Deadline here reports the Bears' Lisa Colin-Zays joins Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I get it might not be a name a lot of people recognize. I did watch the first season of The Bear, so I am familiar with her, and I do like her as an actress. I think the funniest thing about this casting choice is people immediately note her ethnicity, and that's her being of Puerto Rican descent, and then connect the dots and go, oh, we just got Rio Morales, the mother of Miles Morales in Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's not confirmed here in the article. In the article, it doesn't even say who she's playing, just that she is in the movie now. But I don't want to jump to those conclusions, although I would love it. I just don't know if that's who she'd actually be playing. For all we know, she could have a really small part. She could just be a random tenant in Peter Parker's building that he says hi to every now and then. We did get a report the other day that Sony was looking to cast teachers for the college that Peter will be going to in the movie, so she could end up being a professor at the school. Maybe whatever part-time job Peter Parker has in this movie, she's a co-worker of his. Like, there's literally a dozen million roles she could be playing. I think people just look at her ethnicity and go, Miles Morales' mommy would be really cool, but I don't think so just yet. I still do think, though, this new trilogy will lead us into eventually us passing the torch to a live-action Miles Morales. I guess I just don't want to get my hopes up too much. Like I said, all I know is I'm happy this movie is casting, getting names and faces out there, because every face, every name gives us a clue to what is actually going down in this movie, because it still feels like a big mystery Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that's just exciting. You guys see this actress attached to the film? What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Love to hear it down below. But anyways, guys, that is all movie news we currently have going on right now. I want to thank so much for taking time out of the day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.